Yeah, I want to give y'all some words of encouragement. However, for some reason, my mind is drawing a blank. Um, a lot of times I can just hit record and the words just come to me. And I've prayed and asked God to give me the words to say, and however, my mind is still blank and I don't really know what to say. So I'm struggling this morning, and I don't know, maybe one of you guys are out there struggling today too with I don't know, thinking straight, I guess. I know for me today my mind is filled with not so much worry of the future, but more like excitement, I guess, of what's to come. Changes are coming and things are going to be different, and I'm um, trying to plan everything out, and um, I'm hopeful in what is coming. uh, a little, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little worried, or more like nervous, because I don't know what to expect, and it's been so long since we've had this kind of change. And so I'm not going to reveal just yet what that change is. You'll know in time what it is, but now is not the time to talk of it. So, anyway, I guess I just want to encourage anybody who is got big changes coming soon, or maybe you're in the midst of starting those changes. I want to encourage you to set your mind to be in control of those changes. There's a lot of change that we can control, and there's change that we cannot control. So you may be in a situation where life is happening and you can't control none of it. However, there are a lot of parts of it that can be controlled. And like for me, I had allowed the parts that I couldn't control to control me and control my emotions, and to make me feel like I couldn't control anything. And it made me feel discouraged, and like life was just happening and I couldn't slow it down, I couldn't stop it, and I couldn't do anything about it. This overwhelming feeling of helplessness, and I was just kind of trying to keep my head above water. And honestly, I was more like drowning, not keeping my head above the water at all. And it's a scary feeling. It seemed like there was just so many things in the last few years that were just so uncontrollable. And the things that I had control over, I was trying to hold on to for dear life, and not, as I've talked about earlier in this week, that, changing from one career path to another, and those were changes that I wasn't willing to make. And so I was fighting against that current, but at the same time, just letting other things just happen. And I found myself in positions where I didn't know what my role was, my job was, and yet I was doing anything and everything that I could do, and calling it productive when really it was just busy. I wasn't really doing anything to move that needle into my future, into my benefit. I was doing so much just busy work, and yeah, it may have been kind of helpful to other people, but like I realized that things can get done with or without me in certain situations. I don't need to be there. I don't need to be involved. And life goes on with or without me. And so it's up to me to choose the right path and make the right decisions for myself and my family to get us moving forward, instead of staying stagnant where we've been all this time. And so it's like I knew all that, but something was holding me back. I was still fighting it, even though I knew what I was doing. And so I did a lot of praying and asking God to help me to break through whatever it is that was holding me back, because I didn't know what has been holding me back. I didn't know what the problem was. I just knew that there was a problem. And so I am finally to the point where I realize what that problem is. And it's been my stubbornness to let go of the past, to not let go of the past, and to embrace the present and be hopeful for the future. And I don't know, I think a lot of us are held back by that disappointment of failed dreams or missed goals. We get held back and caught up in that disappointment, and we can't move past it. It's not so much fear of failure again. It's just it's not a fear, because I kept thinking it was for me. I kept thinking, what is this fear? What am I afraid of? And it's like, I'm not afraid. I am angry. It's like, I am just upset. I am disappointed. I am sad that my life has not turned out the way that I had always hoped that it would, or envisioned that it would. And although, like, God has been doing amazing things in my life, and I love every minute of it, but there has been this piece of me that has been just clinging so tight to that disappointment and that anger of what used to be, of what was lost. And so it's learning to let that go. It's learning to accept that that did not work out and it wasn't for me, to accept that what God is doing now and in my present time and what He's got planned for my future is so much bigger and so much more than I could ever dream or imagine it to be. And so it's not a fear, it's just stubbornness. So my encouragement to you today is that if you are like me and you have been holding on to the life that you had always envisioned for yourself, if you've been clinging so tight to it, and you might tell yourself, okay, I've let it go, I'm moving on into the future, thank you, Lord, you're giving me new things, giving me blessings, you're leading me in new paths, da 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 da, and yet you still find yourself stuck and not moving, and, to be honest, self-sabotaging every single time for me. When things start going good in what God has called me to do, then I allow my emotions to put the brakes on. It's almost like I'm in protest to what God has done in my life, that I'm just maybe I'm angry at God. I don't know. That's hard to admit, but maybe there is a part of me that is honestly angry with God. Like, why couldn't my life go the way that I wanted it to go? Why couldn't it go the way that I had planned it to go? Why even allow me to hope and dream for that when you were never going to give me that, right? And so maybe there is anger there, and I need to this is going to sound crazy, I need to forgive God. I think sometimes we need to do that. We need to forgive ourselves and forgive God, because God is good, so He's already forgiven us. But we should apologize for being angry. But I think God understands our emotions, and He understands our anger, and He understands our fear. He understands all of it. And so from time to time, we are going to get frustrated and angry with Him, but we have to come to that conclusion that He knows way better than we do, and that He is so good, and that all He wants for us is good. And so whatever His plan is, we can trust it. We can trust it. And that's I think that the last few years have been meant to help me to learn to trust him. And I have totally gained a lot of trust in God and believing in him, and trust and belief in myself as well, as a child of God and as his child, and that he wants good for me. And so being able to trust myself and being able to trust God in all things is something I've come through, but I'm starting to realize that trust is good, but if you're holding on to anger for the past, then trust, is weak. It's not fully there if you're still angry about the past. Because to me, my upsetness and anger is really a lack of, I guess it is a lack of trust for the future. Like, okay, well, now you've given me this other dream to follow and passion and whatever, and yet I'm weary that you, or leery that you won't come through for me, that I'll just be wasting another 40 years. I don't know. And so there's that part of me that feels that, but there's another part of me that absolutely knows without a doubt that this is the right thing for me. And when I was doing hair and as a hairstylist, it was not true. I was just kind of going along with whatever. Like, I was good at hair before I went to beauty school, and then I went to beauty school and I found out, okay, well, I'm still pretty good at this. So I followed that, but my entrepreneurial spirit and my teaching and mentor spirit is what guided me to want to have that full dream of having a full salon with employees and stuff, because that's the true passion, true heart that I have. But I got caught up in just doing hair and just being a hairstylist and not the other stuff. So God had to remove that part, that whole dream of mine, in order to help me to see what he's actually called me to do and what he's planned for my life. And I was never going to have that in the situation I was in and going about my own business my own way. I just never would have understood that or come to that conclusion, or without him taking it away from me. And so, or removing me from it, or whatever it may have been. I guess he just kind of closed the door on that, just told me to stop, and I stopped. And so now I know what it is without a doubt. It's just trusting and believing for it to come to pass and unfold the way that God has planned it to. And so I feel like I know what to do, but I don't know where it's going to happen or when or whatever. So it is a kind of a confusing situation, but I just want you to be encouraged today. I know I keep saying that. So be encouraged today that let go of the past. It's okay. Love you.